Hi, I'm Melissa, your free range psychic, and today I want to do a guided reading uh, on Steve Bannon and also the mass shootings that have occurred recently in Dayton, Ohio, Gilroy, California, and El Paso, Texas. So, but I need to make a disclaimer that this channel is for entertainment purposes only, and I'm not a news channel, so whatever I say, please take it with a grain of salt. And that being said, I wanted to read about, or my guides actually wanted me to read about Steve Bannon, I should say, because of these shootings that have occurred recently. And Steve Bannon, he used to be the chief White House strategist. Do you remember? And he was instrumental behind the Muslim ban. And then a couple books came out. I think Michael Wolff's book Fury in the White House, or whatever that was called, and I think Emma Rosa. And so it came to light that Bannon had been unkind. It said certain unkind things about Trump, and then he gets banished from the White House and he skulks off to Europe. But we forget about him, and we forget. Or maybe we don't know that Bannon has a stake in causing violence between the I think he would call the right, ultra right wing kind of supremacists, and people of color, and people of Islamic faith and Jewish faith. He has said openly he wants to create a race war. This is important to him. And we've seen that he in Europe, he has been involved in Brexit, behind the scenes, causing the misinformation that has led to Brexit. And he has been behind the scenes creating more white nationalism in those countries. That is his thing, and he continues to be active here too. He espoused all this as when he ran Breitbart. And he still does. And I wanted to read you just a little bit from an article. I don't know where it's from. I will put the link, beneath this video, so that you can look it up. It's called The Theology of Stephen K. Bannon by Hugh Urban. And so it talks about just this one part here. I wanted to read just a small paragraph, which is this book that inspires Bannon. It's so one of Bannon's most frequent literary references when describing the struggle with Islam and the broader problem of Muslim immigration was the controversial French novel Le Comte Saints, published in 1973 by Jean Raspail, and that's Raspail if you want to look it up. The novel paints a very dark picture of massive immigration to France by immigrants from India, which ultimately result in the destruction of Western civilization. The title itself comes from the Bible, a story from the book of Revelation, in which the camp of the saints is surrounded by the armies of Satan until the fire of God comes down to devour the wicked. On various radio segments and interviews from his Breitbart days, Bannon repeatedly invoked the novel to describe global Islam and Muslim immigration to Western countries. As he puts it on his Breitbart News radio show, or as he put it on his news show in January 2016, it's not a migration, it's an invasion. I call it the camp of the saints. So this is very incendiary kind of rhetoric, and we hear this language from Trump, right? He calls the immigrants coming over from Latin and South America as an invasion. And the so this juxtaposition, this battle to keep the brown skinned people out, to protect the sanctity of the white male Judeo-Christian ruling class. That's paramount to Bannon's belief, and also Trump's and John Kelly's and Steve Miller's. So it's important to understand that this kind of thinking, which was when I think it was the killer, the Dayton, Ohio a shooter who was caught, and I can't say 100% whether it was him or one of the others. He had a manifesto, right? And this manifesto was the same thing. It's a white nationalist manifesto that the brown skinned people are coming over. Oh, maybe it was the shooter from El Paso, or who went down to El Paso, because he's talking about the people coming over the border and coming into America and taking advantage of getting things tax free, and that's why he went in there to shoot them, these invaders. This is where it's coming from. I want people to know it's not just random. This is a very organized kind of, almost a psyops kind of a movement, or an endeavor to actually cause these race wars, so that I think in Bannon's vision, in the end, the white patriarchal Judeo-Christian male will be victorious, and it's necessary to cause this huge revolution, which he has. If you look at the things he's written and said himself, it has to be violent. It's like he calls it the fourth turning, after the World Wars and the Great Depression. This is apocalyptic, but it's also, to him, it's a divine in some way, in whatever divinity he believes in, like the rapture or something like that. This needs to happen, this massive war, or the civil war, so that the white man can be victorious, and his rule can continue, and he doesn't get eaten up, swallowed up by all these immigrants. And so it's insane, but it's really happening. In terms of, I'm not saying this race war is happening, but his attempt to make it happen is really going on. It's having its fruits, right? Because it is triggering these young white nationalists to go ahead and get a AK-47 or whatever, and go into a mall and do it. And it's all stirred up, through, I'm sure, private Facebook groups and dark web community platforms. But it's being, the captain is people like Bannon. And even though he's gone, we see him as like just out of the picture. He's not out of the picture. And my guides have told me, Trump does have a relationship with Bannon, and that was a short-lived break. And he's very important in this, the way that people like John Kelly and Steve Miller and Trump and Bannon, all these right-wing extremists think. They're all at one with this philosophy. And this is how also they gain their power, because they speak to their base, the people who believe in it. That's their army. That's a righteous cause. So there's a lot more complexity to Bannon's belief regarding, libertarian capitalism and stuff like that. But I just wanted to bring that part of it up, because we need to understand that these shootings are not random. They're not coming from nowhere. It's important for us to know that, so we don't feel so helpless. So we're not endlessly, speculating, well, why is this happening? And, I don't understand. And, this and that. They're happening for a reason. And I do believe, I've had this sense, that they're very well choreographed in some way. In some ways they're random, but they're also choreographed, especially for the timing of them. So given that, I really did not want to do this reading at all. I think I've said that about some other readings, but oh my God, Bannon's energy is disgusting, so dark, so foul. It is like reading on the devil himself. So let's surround ourselves with white light, ask our angels to protect us as we do this reading, as we go into this place. And yeah, we are surrounded by white light. So the first card that my guides showed me, oh, I don't think I mentioned this when I do my tarot readings, like I said in my other videos. I don't choose these cards. I don't shuffle cards. My spirit guides show me them psychically. I fish them out of the deck, and then they tell me why they chose the card that they chose. So this is the subject card, the moon. And I will get my notes, and I will look at them just to remember what my guides told me. So they said that this moon is about things done under the cover of darkness, using social media like the dark web and private Facebook groups, where the planning of things like mass shooting occur. Bannon hiding in the shadows, spreading hatred and fear. His involvement in Brexit and white nationalism in the US and abroad. This is Bannon appealing to the baser emotions, him manipulating through race identification and misinformation. The above card is the Five of Swords, which I think is, you know, Bannon suits that card, and that card suits Bannon very well. So this is Bannon's intent to harm. His vision can only be won by death and destruction, and by division. This is him starting a race war, or trying to start a race war. Dividing people and stirring up white nationalists. These mass shootings represents these shootings as well. So the recent past is the Seven of Swords. I'm going to pause for a second so I can find it. I found it. So this is Bannon. This is him, you know, being quote unquote exiled to Europe, where he, you know, continues his work. This kind of mirrors the moon, my guides said, because it's, you know, him working out of sight, doing his dirty work out of sight, working for Putin, helping disrupt and weaken the European Union, helping with Brexit, and getting ultra right-wing leaders elected. The below card is the devil. Surprise, surprise. So they basically said that Bannon comes from this place, a place of evil. He worships a dark force. The near future card is the Tower. It's coming up for all these guys. My guides say that this is that Bannon's fate is tied to Trump, and Trump's fate. And this is, you know, the Trump Tower, right? So it's tied to Trump's downfall. Now Bannon thinks he's invincible, but he's human like everybody else. My guides say it's a long fall from the tower to the cold, hard ground. And they say that the fall is kind of activated now. This is things are in place for us to watch Bannon fall down a very long distance and end in disaster. So the clarifying card is Judgment. So my guides say this is karma for Bannon. This is reaping what he has sowed. It's finally catching up with him, right? And they also they say people that he's injured or betrayed in the past are wanting revenge, and they want the revenge now. They're sick of waiting. And it also has to do with debts that he has not paid and are long past due. And ripping people off, and people now, wanting their money back or wanting some kind of revenge on him for that. And the outcome card is the Sun. And so this, they say, is the opposite of the Moon card, regarding that Bannon's been able to remain out of sight to do his work, but the Sun is now going to shine on him, and he's no longer going to be able to remain in the dark. He's going to be forced to come into the daylight and be under scrutiny for his deeds. So the other thing is that, I'm going to pause. Oh no, I was going to look for my pendulum, but it was under the paper. I was going to pause to look for that. So, trying to think if there's anything else. I think there's one other thing about this reading that my guide said, that that Bannon is connected with John Kelly and Steve Miller and Trump. Did I already mention that? I might have already mentioned that. I can't remember now. But again, I could say it again. That he is connected with all these people regarding our current policy towards immigrants, and he's one of the architects of the concentration camps. So that being said, I promised that in my my last video that I was going to answer some questions, so the first question I'm going to ask my guides, I'm going to use my pendulum, and when I use my pendulum, it's not a really conventional way. I just start talking to them. I've been using it so long. I've been doing this so long that I just kind of end up in this conversation, and you'll see my pendulum kind of whizzing around, but I'm not really paying too much attention to whether it's going to, swing one way or the other. I'm just going to open up a channel with it so that I can talk with them. So the question one of the questions I wanted to answer, somebody asked me, do you think that, August is still going to be the time when Trump, falls or ends? And I'm going to ask my guides. They say yes, August, and his end is to do with health. It's his heart and the malfunction of his heart. And they see that ending Trump. Yeah. And, yeah, it's like his heart is just going to, and it's not a very good end. I don't know if there's survival from that. But it will end his presidency. I know a lot of people see him, either walking away having made a deal or being forced out, and that could very well happen. But that they've always showed me it's a health issue. We'll see. The next question is, somebody asked me, is Epstein tied up with Nader and Trump and Kushner and all those people? So the answer is yes. But it's not politically, and it's not to do with, no, it is to do with money and the procurement of young girls and boys too, for nefarious purposes. That's the connection. And it's the same with Ghislaine Maxwell. You can see her as a female Epstein in every way, that she's also has the same addiction and is in the same role. One is the other. Ghislaine Maxwell is the feminine face of Epstein, who's the masculine face. Same. They could almost be the same person. And they have been together. Somebody asked me another question. Have they been together in past lives? I'm not going to do a detailed reading, but we can, do a little bit. Yes, they have been together in past lives. My guides tell me, in three lives. Different. I think in 2 lives, Ghislaine was the male and Epstein was female, and in 1 life, she was female and he was male. And oh, absolutely, they're telling me there was a brothel. uh, in one of those lifetimes, they owned a brothel together. So it's just like old times. They're getting together now. They're just like old times. So, uh, and I think the next thing they're telling me is yes, they're both going to pay a heavy consequence for what they've done. People are worried about Ghislaine Maxwell getting away, but that she's not going to. And a lot of big names are going to be exposed. People are terrified, absolutely terrified about this coming out. It's coming out. Yeah, Pandora's box is open. The cat's out of the bag, and it is going to all come out. Maybe not everything, but a lot of things. People are going to try to pay big money to keep their name out of it. Big money. So then, let me see. I'll ask one more question, and then I want to give us the card that my guides had chosen for us. It's an oracle card, and they want to make sure that I read this card. Let's see. What's the third question I should ask? Are we going to be okay? Are we going to survive? We're going to be okay. We're going to come through this. A bit bruised and battered, to say, to be understate, but we're going to be stronger for it. And it's a spiritual war. It's a spiritual war going on. That's what they're telling me. And but we will win it. We will save the earth. I know it seems impossible, but we will, because we'll be connecting with our higher energies, our magical selves. We will connect with the earth, and we will turn things around. 100%, they're saying. It's as written. So that's good news. So now I'm going to read the card that they wanted me to share with you. This is our card chosen for us. And it's from the Diana Cooper Angels of Light deck. And the card is Gratitude. Your guidance is to count your blessings. When you say thank you to the universe for its gifts, it responds generously to you. Angel wisdom reminds you to say thank you for all the things that you have, for all that you have, the intangible as well as the tangible. Whenever you say thank you from your heart, more is bestowed on you. For gratitude is the key to opening the doors to universal abundance. Cultivate an attitude of gratitude and open yourself to receive love and plenty into your life. Your angels will smile on you. The affirmation, I am grateful for everything in my life. So, that being said, I do personal readings, past life readings, present life readings. I can talk to your loved ones, or my guides, can do that, and we can, the ones who have passed over, I should say, and we can see if they've passed over, and if not, maybe we can help them make their transition. Also, I love to introduce people to their guardian angels. That's a joyful thing for me to do. So if you need to get in touch with me for a reading, I will leave my information below. And I would, if you like this video, please like and subscribe and share. That being said, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your night or your day. It is August the 4th, 2019 at the moment. It's 4:47 p.m. if you want to get time oriented. And it's a really warm, hot, or I should say hot August day, but another beautiful day. It's been so sunny, and the sky has been so clear, but I wouldn't mind a little rain right now. We could do with a little bit of rain, but that being said, it's so beautiful. So I hope everybody has found some peace and some a time to get centered and to be in joy. No matter, I know there's a lot of horrible things going on, but there's a lot of beauty too. Don't miss out on the beauty. Don't miss out on the joy. You guys take care, and I'll be back soon.